That's right, we are going to go over 3 things Bicep taught me about music production. Slanjava music producers, you have tuned into the channel called Whisky and Synths. This is the channel that blends whiskey drinking with the music making, and it's my absolute pleasure to be your host today. My name's David, and we're going to go straight into this episode finding out all these cool things Bicep can teach us about music production. I'm well excited to share it with you. I've loved Bicep for a while now, initially finding them in about 2019, and then been listening to them since then, and even got to see them live in London, and I think it was in 2021 in a big park closing off a festival. So I absolutely think they're so magic and can't wait to share a bit today with you about them. This video is aimed at kind of intermediate and advanced music producers. It'll be done in kind of podcast style, mainly chatting about it. So hopefully that's your kind of thing and you can take away the lessons and use them in your own production. I'm going to get a bit more technical about stuff in this one today. Let's go. So, number 1, I want to share some lessons about the way they program their drums, which is quite an interesting thing for us. You know, a lot of our producers program our own drum tracks, and they said they like saturated 909 drum hits and quite a sparse drum track, actually, keeping it fairly simple. They said drum hits sometimes have unconventional effects on them. So maybe go a bit more wild with the effects on some drum hits, which is cool. And also, they said drum mix sometimes has unconventional sounds mixed louder deliberately, especially the hookier kind of percussion parts. So if you got kind of a different kind of drum sound in amongst like the classic drum sounds like 909s, 808s and stuff like that, maybe adding in this kind of hookier part that's a bit different would be quite a cool idea. For example, they had kind of different kind of world music kind of drum sounds on it as well sometimes, and also different levels of saturation and effects on each individual drum sound as well, rather than applying it to your main drum bus. As well as that, they'd also have a lot of swing in the drums, and they're not super quantized either, so that's quite interesting too. And I guess Bicep's famous for having this organic kind of cool sort of natural sound to their drums and that. And I think this is one reason why. And another thing they said is try alternative time signatures as well. So you don't just have to be 4/4 all the time. Maybe go for a 6/8 or a 5/4. Just mix up your time signatures to see if you can get anything cool out of that. And that is one other cool trick. So I've learned quite a lot from drums from Bicep, and hopefully that's helped you a little bit. So now we've done a bit on their drum sounds, it's worth mentioning a bit about their lead sounds. So they had some great tips on this as well. For example, the lead sounds are often a combination of analog, FM, wavetable synths all at once, playing with EQ, saturation and compression to blend them together to make them sound like one thing. So, you know, some producers always debating what's better, like, oh, you know, I think, analog's better, or FM's too complicated. But Bicep actually used a combination of different kinds of synths to achieve like a really unique lead sound, and they're famous for it. You know, when you listen to them, their effects of their melodies really stays with you, and it always sounds very original, and this is one way they got that, which is quite cool. So yeah, they even said, as well as adding this, complex modulation with LFO and even gates are used on the lead, especially on filters, which was another cool way of doing it too. So can you imagine that gate and the filter all moving about, kind of changing, and this is how they get that fluid, organic sound that they're like really well known for. So just before we get to our final third point from Bicep, if you're a music producer struggling with your music, I've got something that can help you. It's my Finish That Damn Track challenge. Now, it's just a 10-day, 10-step challenge to get you to finish your track. You don't have to put more time than you usually would. I just help you use that time more productively. And you just get an email from me every day with a quick PDF telling you exactly what to do to go from an 8-bar loop to a finished track. Get out of 8-bar loop hell and even self-master it by the 10th day. If that sounds good to you, click below and I'll send it out to you for free, because I just want to help out other music producers with resources that I would have loved back in the day myself when I was starting to learn music production. And yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. And it's even got extra bonus videos videos along with it and stuff, all for free. So click below if that sounds like it'll help you. And I also run a label, Tonic Note Records, which has been going for 7 years. And going through this challenge, I'll be able to get you to the front of the queue for appearing on our compilation albums as well. So you get it finished, self-mastered, and then, you know, a good chance of getting released on Tonic Note Records as well. So hopefully that sounds good to you. Let's get to our final tip from Bicep. So on the third tip from Bicep that you might not want to hear, is on music theory. So they said as producers for a while, they were DJs first, then producers, and for a while they were fumbling around trying to get the best sound they could, you know, and sometimes it was luck and they got it, sometimes it wasn't. But then they took piano lessons and started learning about more chords, chord patterns, and melodies. And they said now they won't even start a song unless it sounds good on a piano sound first. So they'll just be playing in chords and melodies, and then they'll take it from there if it sounds good. So before they even get to all the fancy production stuff we've talked about before, they'll do it that way. And they said they'd work out chords and key on piano first. It has to work. Example chords were like kind of nice ones like E minor 7, D major, B minor, and A minor 7. The keys and chords sets the tone and the mood. And they did say that like storytelling and emotion are a big part of their track. They don't just want to be putting out kind of weapon tracks that just set a dance floor light. They want to tell a story with their electronic music as well. And they said the keys and the chords set the tone and the mood. On Atlas, we did the melody last, which is something we normally do first. So, you know, they have this way of working, but they are open to interpret it. And they said once they've got the chords and the melody, they might add a kind of SH101 bit style bass line to it at that point. And that's kind of their demo that they'll develop off as well. So I think it's quite cool. I think as producers, we don't often stay in the demo mindset, but it's well worth thinking, oh, just try out lots of ideas, and then once you get a feeling one is a really genuinely good one, then start progressing with it. And I think that's a good way to approach it with like demos. And they did say a lot of demos, which we might talk about later. And there's quite a lot of Bicep tips that I learned, lessons from Bicep. So it might be a follow-up video to this one as well. Hopefully that sounds up your street. And remember, if you're struggling with your tracks, I've got my Finish That Damn Track 10-day challenge that you might enjoy. 10 steps, 10 days, finished, self-mastered track. Hopefully that will help you out. Like I said, I'm here to help music producers get more fulfillment, more fun, and more enjoyment out of their music production. And anything I can do to help, I want to try. And I also offer one-to-one coaching calls for free. I can only do 4 of them a month, but if that sounds interesting to you, jump on a Zoom call, click below, that can help out that way as well. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. And I've got other ones on the channel a bit like this. But maybe it's time to get off YouTube and open up Ableton and get producing. Have fun with it. I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching Whisky and Synths. Whisky and Synths.